Hi guys, I wanted to share a little bit with you about how I did this, how I hooked this generator to that house to power selected outlets and lights. So this is a 2500 watt generator, starting watts around 3250, something like that. What I did was this generator has regular household outlets, which is a big deterrent, and I found out when my father-in-law came to me and said, would you hook this up, that there's not much information on how to do it. So I thought I would share with you on how I did it. Don't recommend that you do it, but this is how I did it. So I thought I'd share it with you. What I did was I wanted to get as much juice out of this generator as possible. So what I did was I took and bought a extension cord that is a 20 amp. Now how do you know it's a 20 amp? It's a 20 amp because of that horizontal prong right there. You got your negative prong, your hot prong, that neutral prong is horizontal. That will fit into this generator, so you will get 20 amps. Now you can use a different plug. You can use a 15 amp plug, which would be your normal household plug, and that would not be horizontal if that was the case. You can use that, but as I said, I wanted to get as much amperage out of this generator as possible. So I hooked that in. Now here's the thing. These generators, when they're conventional like this, they're used for job sites, they're used for emergency use, like if you want to put extension cords into your house. But he wanted it hooked to his house to hook his electric panel to. So what I had to do was I had to make this generator, which is a neutral bonded generator, a floating neutral generator. Now, why did I do that? Well, I did that because your electric system in your house is already neutrally bonded. If you take off the front of your electric panel, you will notice that on each side there's two bus bars with little screws in them. Those bus bars can handle neutral wires as well as ground wires. So those are a neutrally bonded electric system. Your house is a neutrally bonded electric system, which is what this generator is, a neutrally bonded electric system. You can't have two neutrally bonded electric systems powering the same thing. That's not good. So here's what we did. I went in and I took, turn this around a little bit. I took this off. This is where your neutral wires and your ground wires and your power wires are. It's in this. You take these two lugs off, and if you notice, I don't know if you can zoom in, Jonah. If you notice, there is a ground wire right there. So that tells me, or that told me, that the ground wire is green with a yellow stripe on it. So I took this off, and I'm sorry I don't have a socket on me. I took this off, and there was a ground wire coming up to this side, but guess what? There was a neutral wire, which is usually a white wire, that jumped from the ground pole all the way over to the neutral pole. And I went, oh, well I'm just going to take that off, because that is bonding my neutral pole to my ground pole, and I don't want that because, again, my house is neutrally bonded. So I don't want two neutrally bonded situations. But here's the thing. Come up a little bit, thank you. Here's the thing. If I do that, and when I did that, he can use it with his house. But here's the thing. If he wanted to use a weed eater or a blower out here in the yard, and he did not hook it to his house, he's going to have to neutrally bond the generator again. How does he do that? Well, I made this little plug. Went to Walmart, bought a plug by itself, comes together like that. Okay. Then what I did was I took a piece of white wire from a piece of Romex, about that long, stuck it in the ground slot, stuck it in the neutral spot, put it to get rounded down with a pair of pliers, tightened it up. This is your neutrally bonded plug. When he wants to use the generator for something other than powering the house, all he has to do is he plugs this in. Of course, I'm going to tighten those screws, and that just leaves you with one outlet that he can use, but he can plug a power strip or something in, I guess. But what I'm saying is you need to neutrally bond this generator again if he wants to use it without the house. So there's that. Now, there's my 20 amp cord into the generator, which, gives 20 amps out, or 2,500 watts. Then what we had to do was we had to put this type of socket on this side. Now, why this type of socket? This is a 4-pound socket. You got your ground, your neutral, and your 2 hot legs. When you plug this up to the house, which this is a normal 30 amp generator inlet plug that you can get off Amazon, is where I got this one. You plug this into here, shove it in, twist it, and now that will power his electric panel box. That'll power both legs of his electric panel box, because you've got a hot and a hot. Well, here's the interesting situation. That generator only has 3 wires, a hot, a neutral, and a ground. So what I had to do, or actually what my son did, was we jumped from this hot leg to this hot leg with a piece of wire like that to make those both sides hot. Now, this doesn't make this 240 volts. This still is actually 120 volts bridged. So that side's 120 volts and that side's 120 volts. It doesn't ump up the voltage. It's still 120, okay? But that will power both legs of his panel box, the odd side and the even side, the even breakers. Only thing is, he can power a refrigerator, a TV, his fireplace, I think his bedroom lights, and a couple outlets. So it doesn't power the whole house or anything like that, but that's what he needs in an emergency type situation. And that's what he wanted to do. He didn't want to run extension cords everywhere. So this is what I did. As I said, I don't recommend it. The electrician is always the best way to go. However, that wasn't an option here, and I'm not opposed to electricity, never have been. So I just wanted to show you what I did, okay?